Income tax authorities, power of income tax officer and commissioner of income tax. Income Tax Act 1961. Lesson 17. This lesson is about income tax authorities, power of income tax officer and commissioner of income tax. Good morning everybody. I am Mr. T.B.Agarwal speaking from Agarwal Income Tax Tuition classes Akola. We have completed BCom Part 2 Semester 4 Income Tax Paper course prescribed up to Unit 3 of the University. Unit 4 is in respect of income tax authorities, power of income tax officer and commissioner of income tax and assessment procedure. Here in this lesson, we will know which are the authorities under the Income Tax Act 1961 and what are their powers in execution of the provisions of the Act. In this paper, questions on powers of income tax officer and commissioner of income tax and what are the income tax authorities are always asked, which bear 5 to 10 marks. Students have to write notes on these questions. Since the course is limited, we will not go in detail of the subject, but still we will study the background and some more provisions of the Act. The provisions about income tax authorities and their powers are contained in Chapter 13 under Section 116 to 138 of the Income Tax Act. Income tax authorities. This is under Section 116. There shall be following classes of income tax authorities for the purpose of this Act, namely, there will be a board, there will be a board called Central Board of Direct Taxes, which will work under the Ministry of Finance. In short, it is called CBDT. The board consists of 6 members headed by a chairman. This is the first authority. The board consists of 6 members headed by chairman. This is the first authority. B. Then there are directors of income tax and commissioners of income tax who are designated as under. We have made here 2 portions for sake of convenience. Directors of income tax and commissioners of income tax. Principal Director of Income, Director General, Principal Chief Commissioners, Director General or Chief Commissioner, Principal Directors or Principal Commissioners, Directors of Income Tax or Commissioners of Income Tax, then Additional Directors of Income Tax and or Additional Commissioners of Income Tax or Additional Commissioner of Income Tax Appeals, then Joint Director of Income Tax or Joint Commissioner of Income Tax, Deputy Directors of Income Tax or Deputy Commissioners of Income Tax or Deputy Commissioners of Income Tax Appeals. Then next authority is Assistant Director of Income Tax, that is ADIT, or Assistant Commissioners of Income Tax, ACIT. Then the next authority is Income Tax Officers, Tax Recovery Officer and Inspectors of Income Tax. These are the income tax authorities under the Income Tax Act. Powers of income tax authorities. The board is, that is CBDT, is the supreme authority among the income tax authorities. The board may from time to time issue such orders, instructions or directions to other income tax authorities as it may deem fit for the proper administration of this Act, and such authorities and all other persons employed in the execution of this Act shall observe and follow such orders, instructions and directions of the board. The power provided to the board under Section 119 of the Act. The subsections of this section also state as to which orders, instructions or directions may be issued and which may not be issued by the board. The board also issues directions about the jurisdiction of the income tax authorities under the Income Tax Act for the exercise of the powers and performance of the functions by all or any of the authorities, and income tax authorities shall exercise the powers and perform the function conferred on or assigned to them. This is under Section 120 of the Act. As per Section 131 of the Income Tax Act 1961, the powers of the income tax authorities are as under. A. The assessing officer who are given or assigned the powers of assessment by board under subsection 1 or subsection 2 of section 120, which include income tax officers, direct DCIT appeals, JCIT, CIT appeals, PCCIT, CCIT, PCCIT or CIT means Commissioners of Income Tax have the following powers. A. Discovery and inspection. B. Enforcing the attendance of any person, including any officer of a banking company, and examining him on oath. C. Comparing production of books of account and other documents and issuing commissions. D. Issuing commission. Commission means authorization by one person to another to do something or entrust someone with authority to do something. These authorities have the same powers as are vested in a court under the Code of Civil Procedure 1908, that is Article 5 of 1908, when trying a suit in respect of matters mentioned above. 2. The income tax authorities have power to search and seizure under section 132. 3. Power to requisition books of accounts, etc. under section 132A. 4. Power to call for information, that is under section 133. 5. Power of survey under section 133A. 6. Power to collect certain information, section 133B. 7. Power to call for information by prescribed authority of income tax authority, section 133C. 8. Power to inspect register of companies, section 134. 9. Principal Director General or Principal Director General or Director, the Principal Chief Commissioner or Chief Commissioner of Income Tax or Principal Chief Commissioner or Commissioner and Joint Commissioner shall be competent to make any inquiry under this Act, and for this purpose shall have all the powers that an assessing officer has under this in relation to making of inquiries, that is under section 135. Thus we have studied in short the income tax authorities and their powers. Now we will see the powers of income tax officers and commissioners of income tax for the purpose of unit 4 of the paper. Powers of commissioner of income tax. In addition to the above powers, the CIT has also powers in execution of the Act in working in the jurisdictional field as an administrative authority. A. He has power to decide the jurisdiction of the assessing officer under him. B. He has power to transfer cases from one officer to another as and when required. C. He has power to make revision of the orders passed by his subordinates under section 263 or 264 of the Act. D. He is required to authorize the officers in various cadres for the purpose of surveys to be conducted by the assessing officers. E. He has power to register the trust or institutions under section 12A of the Act which get benefits for donations given to them under section 180G of the Act. The powers of the income tax officer, ACIT or assessing officer. Now we will study the powers of the income tax officer. A. He is vested with the power of making assessments of assessees falling under his jurisdiction as authorized by the competent authority. B. Besides, he has all powers under section 131 mentioned above, that we have already seen in the beginning. C. He has powers of survey under section 133A when authorized by the authority and enter the place or building for verification of books of accounts or documents, stock or cash in the place of business or profession, and collection of information which is useful or relevant to any proceeding under this Act. D. Under section 133A5, the income tax officer has power to require the assessee or any person in possession of the information to furnish such information of any expenditure incurred in connection with any function, ceremony or event which the income tax authority deems necessary, or such information is useful or relevant to any proceeding under the Act. E. The ITO has power to collect information by entering any place or building within the area assigned to such authority which is useful or relevant for the purpose of this Act. Section 133B. F. He has power to issue notices to a person requiring to furnish information which he is in possession of and which is useful and relevant to any inquiry or proceeding under this Act. This is under Section 133C. G. Under Section 134, he has the power to inspect the register of companies. These are the powers of income tax officer or say assessing officer in short. We have discussed here only the main items of the powers of CIT and the ITO, limiting to the course of the question papers. However, there are many powers the authority is having while executing each item. The AO has many powers during the course of survey, like making list of documents, cash found, preparing inventory of stock, and requiring the assessee or the person present at the time of survey to afford necessary facility to check or verify the necessary documents, stock, etc. While completing the assessments, he has power to issue various notices, summons also. This will, however, be discussed at the time of dealing with the chapter of assessments or search and seizure or survey in detail. Thus, we have completed the course of Unit 4, which is sufficient for the purpose of the examination without going into details study on the subject. The assessment procedure will be studied in the next video. If you like this video, then please press the thumbs up icon and subscribe this channel, which is free of cost, and press the bell icon next to it for getting the notification of my next video. Thanks.